Guys, I hope your week is going well. It's been some time since I've chatted with you about fungal acne, and I've gotten a lot of requests if I can do a video on products that are fungal acne safe. So I'm going to cover some products in today's video that I think you will find helpful. Fungal acne is a skin condition that is related to a yeast that naturally lives on everyone's skin. It's called Malassezia or Pityrosporum, and it thrives in the oily surfaces of our skin. And in certain conditions, like say for example, if you get sick, your immune system is lowered, or if you happen to be on antibiotics, sometimes that little yeast just gets a little bit too comfortable in our skin and gets a little too comfortable in those oily surfaces and can lead to acne-like rashes. But the rashes are very different from acne, and they don't respond to acne treatments. They require treatments directed towards addressing the yeast. Fungal acne most commonly presents on the upper back, the upper chest, and the arms as red bumps that are uniform in appearance. You can also have pustules scattered throughout. And because this little yeast thrives so much in oily surfaces, this is even more of an issue in climates where you have a lot of humidity and maybe you're sweating a lot and you have a lot of oil and sweat sitting on the surface of the skin. Maybe you're wearing clothing that traps that close to the surface of the skin, and that just lets that yeast live large. It actually very rarely occurs on the face. It's very uncommon for fungal acne to occur on the face. But I think many of you have been told perhaps that you have fungal acne on the face, or perhaps you think that you do. So my number one tip would be to make sure you see a dermatologist, get the right diagnosis. Because like I said, the treatments for acne and fungal acne are going to be very different. You want to make sure you're going down the right path. But that same little yeast that can flare up when we get stressed out, sick, maybe we're on antibiotics, and can contribute mostly to fungal acne on the trunk, can also cause other skin rashes that pop up on our face, like seborrheic dermatitis, which can typically flare around stress and when you're on antibiotics or sick. Seborrheic dermatitis is different. It's those flaky, greasy red patches that can occur around the nasolabial folds, the forehead, around the mouth. And if you're a darker skin type, that can heal with hyperpigmentation around the mouth, for example, and around the nose. Pityrosporum yeast, like I said, thrives in the oily surfaces of the skin, but it also does quite well with organic natural oils, things like olive oil, sunflower oil. In fact, in order to culture this little yeast in the laboratory, it has to be grown on peanut oil. And so logic would follow that using products that contain plant oils should be avoided because it creates a very hospitable environment for this little yeast. It's prudent to avoid those in your skincare products and select products that are oil-free or that contain mineral oil. Mineral oil is not recognized by yeast. It is just a hydrocarbon. The yeast actually thrives on the unsaturated fatty acid component of a lot of organic oils, and so mineral oil is a safe choice in this situation. So a lot of the products that I will share with you guys in today's video do contain mineral oil. Mineral oil is a great ingredient in skincare products. It is non-comedogenic and is a very nice skin conditioning agent. My number one tip for lowering the burden of Malassezia on your skin is to use an anti-dandruff shampoo. Use either an anti-dandruff shampoo that contains the active ingredient selenium sulfide or one that contains zinc pyrithione. And my favorite one is by Vanicream. They make an anti-dandruff shampoo with zinc pyrithione that is fragrance-free. You can also buy Selsun Blue over the counter. It does have fragrance, but that has selenium sulfide, which will fight Malassezia. And my tip for that is to use it a few nights a week in the shower. Lather it in your scalp. That is where Malassezia is most dense. Lather it in your scalp. Lather it in facial areas that are afflicted by Malassezia-related skin signs like seborrheic dermatitis, and lather it to areas of the body that may be affected by fungal acne. Let it sit on the skin for a few minutes while you're in the shower, maybe shaving or doing other things, and then rinse it off. You want to let it sit on the skin for a few minutes though to allow those active anti-dandruff ingredients to penetrate into the oily surfaces and begin fighting the little yeast. When you get out of the shower though, do make sure you still continue to use a body moisturizer. Don't be afraid of using a body moisturizer if you have fungal acne on the body. You don't want to dry out your skin. A body moisturizer that's a good choice is CeraVe Baby Moisturizing Cream, or they also have a moisturizing lotion that is a little more lightweight. But both are good choices. They're fragrance free and they do not contain any oils like olive oil or sunflower oil. They have dimethicone, which is a fantastic skin conditioning agent, as well as petrolatum, which will really help to lock in hydration into your skin. But, you know, you have to wash your face to remove dirt, oil, sebum, cosmetics, water-resistant sunscreen. I am a fan of using a double cleanse approach to break up the film of water-resistant sunscreen or cosmetics and sebum and oil. But a lot of oil-based cleansers are going to contain those oils that you should avoid. My personal favorite oil-based cleanser that does not contain those is going to be albaline. This is mineral oil and petrolatum and paraffin. This is a wonderful choice. I featured it in several videos recently and I use it myself. Just lather it onto your face and it will break up any makeup that you have, any eye makeup that you have. And then you want to come in and actually wash it off with a gentle cleanser to remove that broken up film and the albaline. That admixture, it's going to make a mixture of broken up sebum and oil and cosmetics, and you want to actually then physically remove that. And the cleanser that I recommend is CeraVe Baby Wash and Shampoo. This is a great choice. Also, Vanity Cream Face Wash is another good choice, or you know, any of the CeraVe Hydrating Facial Cleanser or CeraVe Creamy Cleanser. Those two are really good choices for doing the next facial cleanse. It will not exacerbate any kind of seborrheic dermatitis concerns and will efficiently remove all of those cosmetics and whatnot. In addition to stress, seborrheic dermatitis on the face also can be exacerbated by exposure to ultraviolet radiation from the sun. So protecting your skin from the sun using a broad spectrum sunscreen is really your best. You really need to do it, regardless of what type of skin condition you have. Everyone needs to. But some sunscreens that I recommend to you guys, I don't think I've mentioned them on here before, but they're worth mentioning, are by Pearson and Covey. They have a combination sunscreen called Sulfur Zinc that is water resistant. It's SPF 38. Again, no oils that are going to contribute to malassezia / pityrosporum. It gives really good broad spectrum coverage. It does have zinc in it, which is going to protect against UVB and UVA. It also has some chemical filters for UVB protection. It has homosalate and methoxycinnamate. So you'll get really good broad spectrum coverage. Because this has zinc in it, there is a little bit of a cast to it, but it fades down very quickly for me, and it's about a cast of a 1 on my skin, which for me, a cast of a 1 means that you really can't see it unless you look very closely at my skin, then you can see some sheer white. So in a darker skin type, this will show up a little bit. Another sunscreen though that's really a good choice if you have seborrheic dermatitis is going to be the EltaMD UV Clear. It's not very moisturizing. It can be a little drying and a little matte. So if you are more on the greasier side of seborrheic dermatitis, you're really, that would be a good choice for you. It dries very matte and it's not very moisturizing. So it's a good choice for people who are very greasy. If you are more on the dry side, then I would recommend either the Sulfur Zinc or EltaMD UV Sport is another good choice. Or their UV Elements is also a great choice as well, for those of you with maybe needing a little bit more of a moisturizing vehicle for your sunscreen. That would be a good choice, not going to exacerbate this. So that'll cover you during the day, but at nighttime after you've cleansed your face, you're going to want to use a moisturizer on your face. And using a moisturizer on your face that contains niacinamide is a good choice because niacinamide is an ingredient that can help a little bit in controlling sebum and oil production. It's also anti-inflammatory, so it can really go to work to fight seborrheic dermatitis and skin conditions related to malassezia. My favorite niacinamide containing nighttime moisturizer is CeraVe PM. Equate brand from Walmart also makes a generic version of CeraVe PM. Equate Beauty, I think it's called the Ceramide Night Cream or something. I'll list it down below. It's also a good choice. But for those of you in the UK, I totally recommend Freederm for spot-prone skin. Very similar to CeraVe PM in that it contains niacinamide. It's also going to be free of any kind of oils that might contribute to pityrosporum related issues. Some people find that niacinamide burns or stings. That's very individualized. Who niacinamide will sting and who it won't is hard to predict. But if you've had issues with using products that contain niacinamide and you want a nighttime moisturizer that is free of that but won't cause issue for pityrosporum related things, I recommend DML moisturizing lotion. This is really good, and it's not only is it good for seborrheic dermatitis, fungal acne, it's also good for run-of-the-mill all types of acne. So this is a great one. It's oil-free and non-comedogenic, fragrance-free. All the products that I recommend are going to be fragrance-free, by the way. In terms of active ingredients, though, that you can also incorporate into your skincare routine that will help fight malassezia. Things that really address the oily surfaces of your skin are going to be salicylic acid. My favorite way to use salicylic acid is in a face wash. So my favorite salicylic acid face wash is going to be Zabzit. Doesn't have any fragrance in it or menthol. La Roche-Posay makes a very nice salicylic acid face wash as well. It does have menthol in it, which can contribute to a little bit of exacerbation of redness, but is otherwise a good product. Salicylic acid will concentrate into the oily surfaces of your skin and help to control that little yeast. Similar to how you would use the anti-dandruff shampoo, just use it a few nights a week. Again, in the shower, lather to your face or areas in the body afflicted by skin conditions related to malassezia. Let it sit on the skin for a few minutes so that the salicylic acid can get into the sebaceous oil gland, and then rinse it off. And rinse it off, and the salicylic acid is then there in the oily surface and can really begin to impart good control. I like using this approach versus a leave-on salicylic acid. While it's not wrong to use a leave-on salicylic acid toner or product, I prefer to use the wash form because with a leave-on product you have increased irritation and dryness, which doesn't make things better for you. So I prefer to use the salicylic acid wash. But a good salicylic acid leave-on product, if you find that you prefer the leave-on product, is going to be the Paula's Choice 2% BHA solution. Is a very good one, or Your Good Skin Acne Spot Treatment, I'll list it down below, is another good BHA leave-on product that also has green tea in it. And the green tea in that Good Skin product can also help calm down some redness and help with oiliness. So that's a great product for people with fungal acne, seborrheic dermatitis, etc. So the last product or ingredient in the fight against malassezia is going to be over-the-counter sulfur products. My personal favorite is the De La Cruz Sulfur Ointment. The way to use this is to apply it to the affected area after you have cleansed and dried the affected area, whether it be on your trunk, like your back, your chest, your shoulders, or areas of your face afflicted by seborrheic dermatitis. After that area has been cleaned and is dry, apply this onto the skin and let it dry and leave it on in place for about 10 minutes. Sulfur in this will help with controlling redness, inflammation, and will also fight against the malassezia. Then just rinse it off. Sulfur is wonderful. It's very easy to tolerate. It's not as irritating as most active ingredients can be. It can be a little drying, so just make sure after you rinse it off that you follow it up with one of the moisturizers that I recommend. So yeah, this is not an essential, but it can definitely help give a little bit of extra control. As far as frequency of use, I would say, try doing it once every other night to see how you tolerate it, and then you can do it daily, a couple of times a day even. It can be drying though, so just be aware of that. But this is a great affordable product. It doesn't have any other ingredients in it other than the sulfur and some polyethylene glycol, I think, to make it easier to rinse off. And it does, it does have a little sulfury smell to it, but honestly, it really can help quite a bit, and is pretty no nonsense and easy to tolerate. All right, so to summarize these tips for tackling your malassezia, tip number 1 is to use an anti-dandruff shampoo that contains either zinc, pyrithione, or selenium sulfide. Use it in the shower and treat the scalp and affected areas of the body and face for a few minutes, one to a few nights a week in the shower. Make sure you rinse it off. That will address the malassezia. Tip number 2, do not neglect moisturizing the skin of your face or body in an effort to dry out the skin. Just choose a moisturizer that is oil-free or contains mineral oil so as to not make malassezia too comfortable with oils that it can thrive in. Tip number 3 is to make sure you cleanse your face and using a double cleanse method with a mineral oil based cleanser is a good way to break up that filmy residue of sebum and cosmetics that can contribute to exacerbations of, say, seborrheic dermatitis, for example, followed up by a gentle cleanser like the CeraVe Baby. Tip number 4, sunscreen all the time with the face and the body. Very important. Sun will exacerbate seborrheic dermatitis and make fungal acne comfortable. Sun suppresses the immune system, and in doing so, that little yeast is like, hey. So yeah, protect your skin from the sun. And then lastly, other active ingredients that you might consider would be salicylic acid, either in a wash form or a leave-on form at your discretion, bearing in mind it can be a little drying, or the active ingredient precipitated sulfur, such as in the De La Cruz sulfur mask. Using those to the affected areas can help in controlling the burden of malassezia. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. I will list these products down below for you all. But if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.